Hello, once again thank you for tuning into the Gun Viking channel. Today it's time to test the Eley Tenex little sibling, Eley Match. This ammunition is produced on the same machines as the Eley Tenex. It's worth mentioning that a downgraded match is branded as the Eley Team. So sometimes a team can perform as a Tenex, if you're lucky. The cartridge itself consists of a 40 grain lead bullet with a rounded nose and a flat tip, featuring a small nipple. Theoretically, the use of a flat-nosed projectiles shifts their center of gravity towards the rear, which is believed to enhance precision. The stated muzzle velocity is 1085 feet per second. On some of Eley's cartridges you can find the velocity information on the box, and Match is one of them. This specific lot claims to have a muzzle velocity of 1082 feet per second. Keep in mind that this is from a rifle length barrel, so we have to expect a small drop in velocity. This specific lot is manufactured in 2023, so this is fresh. The projectile is coated with beeswax tallow, a feature typically reserved for Eley's high-end projectiles. As many of you already know, I have a weakness for aesthetically pleasing cartridges, and it must be said that with Eley's well-polished casings and grey toned finish on the bullet, this is one of the more visually appealing options available in my opinion. Indeed, a cartridge must offer more than just aesthetics to justify its price compared to more affordable options like the CCI Standard and its likes. While the cost of Eley Match ammunition is often 3 to 4 times higher, it should be noted that doubling the price does not necessarily double the performance. However, there should be a notable improvement over cheaper alternatives. Certainly, finding the ammunition that performs best in your firearm often requires personal testing, in addition to considering reviews and tests. However, the information provided can certainly serve as a starting point. Well then, enough talking. Shall we head to the range and see what we can achieve? Okay, with all the equipment set up, the pistol securely mounted in the Ransom rest, and the chronograph ready for recording, all that is left to do is load the pistol and get started. The first 3 shots are grouping well, but will it hold up throughout the series? Yes, that's not too bad. The series ended up with a grouping of 0.305 inches or 7.74 millimeters. That's decent, but at this price point one should almost expect such performance. Let's reload to Series 2 and see if it performs just as well. I can mention that the velocities appears very consistent on the first 5 shots. This is something Eley typically excels at in their higher-end cartridges. Oh, look at that! The first 3 shots are perfectly grouped. Well, it was a shame about the last 2. Nonetheless, the overall group isn't too bad, measuring in at 0.336 inches or 8.53 millimeters. Let's reload for the third and final group. This one opened up a bit more and ended up at 0.399 inches or 10.13 millimeters. This gives us an average of 0.346 inches or 8.78 millimeters. Interestingly, this is actually 0.012 inches better than the Tenex I tested earlier. Let's take a look at the graphs and the numbers. The velocities are quite even with a couple of outliers. One that is 1028 feet per second and one that is 1056 feet per second. With those two exceptions, all the other shots are within the standard deviation. And the chronograph recorded all the shots, all 15 of them, and the maximum velocity was 1056 feet per second and the minimum was 1028. This gives us a spread of a moderate 28 feet per second and an average of 1036 feet per second. The standard deviation is a low 7. Really good one. Now that the test is over, what is the conclusion then? Well, Match performs quite well, and it's unlikely that the cartridge itself will be the factor that's costing you a potential victory in a competition. It performs more than adequate to secure a win. That being said, I have achieved better results with SK ammunition. The issue with SK, which I haven't experienced with the Tenex or Match or Team, is that occasionally you have a flyer. In those cases, it's better to have a consistent group of 0.35 inches than having groups around 0.25 inches with occasional flyers that cost valuable points. Well, that's all for today. And until we meet next time, I wish you a fantastic day.